What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical average American here today to react and learn about the culture of respect in Japan. From what I understand, respect is very, very important in Japanese society, which, as someone living in the United States, is kind of funny to me. Because as an American, that could not be more different than American culture. Americans have an interesting relationship with respect. Like in American culture, you never know what you're gonna get. Like some people are respectful, some people couldn't care less, and honestly, anything is acceptable, everything is expected in America. People will talk to you very casually. People will say strange, crazy stuff to you, interrupt you. People will bump into you and not apologize. Like, anything can happen in America, and there's no real expectation of respect. Like, it's nice when people are respectful in America, but it's not expected. But in Japan, it seems like respect is taken to a whole nother level by my standard. And it's honestly really, really cool to see. And I'm very excited to learn more about exactly what respect means in Japanese culture and how that compares to American culture. I imagine it's very, very different. So with that being said, let's take a look.
The culture of respect is one of the most important values in Japanese society.
Right.
It's reflected in Japanese language, manners, and customs.
Wow, it's even in the Japanese language. Like, I guess how you talk to people and address people has levels of respect built into it. Like, it's funny because the narrator's like, respect is one of the most important things in Japanese society. And it's like, not in America. That is definitely not the most important thing.
Status and hierarchy are important in modern Japanese society.
Okay.
Just like they were in feudal Japan.
Okay.
Most relationships in Japanese society are not equal.
Huh.
One person's position is higher than the other's. Position is determined by place within a family and organization, as well as job, age, and experience.
Wow. That is such an interesting way of looking at life and people. Yeah. Man, Americans definitely don't view each other that way. Like, even myself, I'm usually not thinking about the person I'm interacting with, how old they are, or what they have accomplished, or their position in society. Basically, everyone talks to each other kind of the same, except when you're at work. Then, when you're at your job or when you're at work, you might kind of act a certain way towards someone who's higher up than you. But in day-to-day life, Americans talk to each other pretty much the same. We don't really factor all this in. So that's really interesting. Japanese people really take into account a lot of things and how they're going to act towards a certain person, it sounds like.
Japanese company workers respect their managers. Students respect their teachers.
Yeah.
Families respect their elders.
Okay.
Sporting teams respect their coaches.
I mean, this is all very loosely obeyed and followed in America as well, but it doesn't seem quite as strictly followed. This seems a little more formal in Japan, I guess.
And Japanese people respect the emperor and the imperial family.
Okay.
One way for Japanese people to show respect is to bow. They also bow instead of shaking hands. Ojigi o shimasu.
The bowing. Right. Bowing. That is a whole part of Japanese culture I don't ever even think about. In the United States, we do not have bowing. We do not bow. You might shake someone's hand. You might give them a little hug, even if you don't know them that well. You might give them a little hug or a handshake or something. Japanese people bow. That is also like just visually very, very respectful gesture, especially to Americans, like because we never bow for any reason, for anything. So whenever I see bowing, it's like a whole nother level. Like I never see bowing or anything like that. I'd like to learn more about that.
Is to bow. They also bow instead of shaking hands.
Okay.
お辞儀をします。Elevator attendant or elevator attendants in department stores have to bow to hundreds of customers
Wow.
every day.
Wow.
The depth of a bow varies according to who you're greeting.
The depth of the bow, the amount you bow changes. Like you bow lower if you want to portray more respect, basically. Oh my gosh. So if it's like the emperor, you're like basically your nose is like touching the ground basically, like you're bowing all the way. And if it's casual, it's just like a little bow or something.
Japanese people give meishi. These name cards introduce people to one another. They give
Wow, I really, man, the whole bowing thing. That's really like I got to think about that for a second. It's super nice, I got to say. Like it kind of infiltrates all of the Japanese culture, all the bowing, and it makes right off the bat if you're bowing to each other. It's such a visually mutual sign of like respect. Like it's kind of nice, honestly, because it's a very humble movement, and it's very like really acknowledging the person. I don't know. I kind of like it more. It's like more meaningful than a handshake or something. But it's very Japanese. Like you would never see this in America ever.
give meishi when meeting new people, clients, or customers, instead of shaking hands. When you offer a meishi, hold the card in both hands and bow.
Oh, there's like a... See, this is also another thing. All these very, very specific customs, very specific ways to do things. Like the mishi, the business card. You have to do it a certain way. You gotta like hold it in both hands, bow. Everything has just a little more nuance to it in Japan. A lot more intention behind it. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of customs and a lot of specific things. It seems like you'd have to know. Like, so many more things. It makes me feel like in America, we're just a bunch of savages or something. We're just out here like, hey, how's it going? Like, you know, that's a greeting in the United States. Like, hey, I mean, like it's nothing. It's not at all similar to this. It's, but I don't know. This is kind of nice. I kind of like this.
名刺を交換します. Japanese people bow even when they are talking on the phone.
Oh my gosh.
Japanese people are very friendly and welcoming to foreign and local tourists.
Okay.
This custom is called omotenashi.
Wow.
It reflects the Japanese respect for other people and their humility in the way they interact with them.
That's another thing I really love about Japanese culture. Japanese people seem very humble, have a lot of humility, and a lot of empathy and kindness and respect. There's that word again, respect, for other people. And including visitors, including foreigners, even Americans, I imagine, even though we tend to be a bit louder, a bit more aggressive and louder than a lot of other cultures when we're on vacation.
When you visit Japan, you'll see that people always wait very patiently in queues.
Wow.
Japanese people show respect for others.
Yeah.
They never push and shove.
Wow, yeah. In America, like, it would not be that crazy for an American to kind of invade your personal space a little bit and not even really say anything or apologize. Like, I think the best way to say it is in America, there's a really, really wide variety of behaviors. A lot of different types of people who might be very nice, they might be mean, they might be respectful, they might be really disrespectful. There's a huge variety, and Americans have come to kind of expect that. But in Japan, it seems like on average, everyone has a built-in level of basic respect for everybody, which is very, very, very nice. What a fantastic way to live. What a great culture.
The Japanese language has an extensive grammatical system for expressing politeness, respect, and humility, which is called keigo.
Okay.
Here is an example of keigo, a very polite and humble introduction.
Okay.
はじめまして、私はユージと申します。どうぞよろしくお願いします。
Wow, it's very formal. So, I guess with Japanese language, you have to be really careful and deliberate with what words you're using for certain people. I think Americans are very, very casual. Like American English, we don't really have special words like that we use for particular people. You might call someone sir or ma'am or say something nice like that, but that's about it. We don't really have many words that are just like to be super polite or something like that.
There are three types of keigo: sonkeigo, kenjougo, and teineigo.
Wow.
All verbs in Japanese have these three forms. Using them correctly is essential for functioning in Japan.
What? Wait, what? All Japanese verbs have three different levels, three different kinds of words, depending on what kind of relationship or respect you're showing? That is a lot. I had no idea.
Kenjougo.
Hold on, this keigo.
There are three types of keigo: sonkeigo, kenjougo, and teineigo.
Okay.
All verbs in Japanese have these three forms. Using them correctly is essential for functioning in Japan.
Oh my gosh.
For example, to eat. 召し上がります。いただきます。
What?
食べます。
What?
Sonkeigo is respectful language. If you were speaking respectfully about your Japanese teacher, you would say this. 先生がパーティーにいらっしゃいます。Kenjougo is modest or humble language that you use.
Oh my gosh, this is unbelievable to me. This is like, maybe it's cause like the American in me, but this is so complicated. This is so intricate. There is so many, like this is blowing my mind, I think, most of all. Like I understand the bowing and stuff, and I understand like the humbleness, but different language, literally different forms of language for different levels of respect. Wow.
Respectfully about your Japanese teacher. Sonkeigo is respectful language.
Okay.
If you were speaking respectfully about your Japanese teacher, you would say this. 先生がパーティーにいらっしゃいます。Kenjougo is
So that's sonkeigo, and this is kenjogo.
先生がパーティーにいらっしゃいます。Kenjougo is modest or humble language that
Okay.
you use about yourself.
Okay.
私がパーティーに伺います。Teineigo is honorific or polite language.
Okay.
It doesn't refer to any particular person. 友達がパーティーに来ます。いらっしゃい
Wow.
ます as this is sonkeigo or respectful. 伺います as this is kenjougo or humble.
Okay.
来ます as this is polite language.
Okay, so all of these are respectful ways to talk. It just depends on what you're talking about. That determines which language you use. I think I get it.
One way to show respect is in the way you address people.
Okay.
Always say and write san after other people's names.
Okay.
高子さんは寿司を食べます。エミリーさんは天ぷらを食べます。
San.
Sometimes males put kun after their names.
Kun.
女子くんは水を飲みます。
So whenever you say someone's name, ever, if you're being polite, you say their name and san. Or if they're a guy, you might say kun. Wow, we don't have anything like that in English. Like, yeah, nothing like that. Like this is kind of making me see. This makes me feel like Americans are very, very informal. Like we are just straight to the point, very brash. Like there's no, we don't have anything close to this stuff going on in Japan.
There are no Japanese words for Mr., Mrs., or Ms., but using san after people's names has a similar function.
Okay.
To show great respect, you can use sama after the person's name instead of san.
Okay.
中山様、3番窓口にお越しください。
Huh.
本田様、大変お待たせいたしました。
So this like also depends on who you're talking to. You might use a different, like, a title, honorific, like a san or sama. Okay.
When addressing a teacher, university professor, politician, doctor, or martial arts teacher, use sensei instead of san or sama.
Sensei. Finally, something I'm familiar with. Sensei is used in America, this word sensei. Most Americans know the word sensei. We usually use it like to mean teacher. Sensei basically means teacher, and most Americans associate this with martial arts, basically. That's most of the time where it's used here.
Sensei in kanji means previous life, which implies having great wisdom.
Oh, wow.
こちらが田中先生です。
Wow, sensei definitely has a much more meaningful meaning in Japan than America.
こちらが山口先生です。
Wow.
こちらが水崎先生です。
Oh, there we go. Martial arts.
In Japanese, there is often a polite form as well as a casual form. Which one you use depends on your audience. For example, when speaking to your own family and friends, you can use casual Japanese.
Oh.
週末何した? This is the polite form of the same sentence. 週末何をしましたか?
Yeah, here we go again. Oh my gosh, like Japanese language must be very, very hard to learn if you do not grow up in Japan, because there are so many different versions of Japanese language, like the common way of speaking, the more respectful way of speaking. There's all these, if you're talking about a friend, if you're talking about yourself, if you're talking about someone else, there's all these different types of ways of speaking Japanese language, basically.
But when talking to people who are older than you, polite Japanese or respectful Japanese must be used.
Okay.
週末何をなさいましたか? To make some nouns polite, simply add o or go in front of the noun.
Oh,
When you ask a question, you put o or go in front of a noun.
okay.
お寿司が好きですか? はい、私は寿司が好きです。
Okay.
ご家族は何人ですか? 私の家族は5人です。
I mean, at the same time, it's kind of cool how much respect is built in to all these different categories of Japanese life. Like, respect is built into the greeting with bowing. It's built into the language. Respect is built into the language. Wow.
お名前は何ですか? 私の名前はトンです。 It's always important to be polite to other people in Japanese and humble about yourself.
Yeah.
To make some expressions polite, you add ございます。
Oh,
おはようございます。
okay.
ありがとうございます。
Oh, okay.
Polite verbs end with mas. The mastery of politeness is very important in understanding how Japanese society functions.
Yeah.
And the core values of respect for others and humility are perhaps ones we should all aspire to practicing every day.
Yeah, exactly. He's even bowing to the animal here. That's nice. This is amazing. Like, this is really a huge, huge difference to life in America. Wow. There you have it. That was great. That video was by ClickView, and I liked it. I liked that a lot. That really opened my eyes. Comparing some of this stuff to American culture is really eye-opening. I think as an American, like, I've just gotten used to how American culture is, how life is, like, but seeing Japanese culture, and seeing all of the levels of respect people have for each other, and the humbleness, it seems like it would make for a much more pleasant and productive society, honestly. Like, this is really, really interesting. I didn't even know there was a civilization living like this. This is, like, amazing. This is like such obvious normal stuff to Japanese people. But to me, this is like, what on earth is this? This is so different to America in the best way. Like, this like, if all Americans were on their best behavior and actually like speaking to each other like respectfully, which would never happen. So I don't know. This is just so cool to learn about. This is great. I enjoyed it a lot, and I learned a lot. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Japan and Japanese culture and just stuff in Japan I have never seen before or learned about, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.